as a background, I keep pondering the outline of how people express their interactions amongst one another. And it is interesting how you might meet someone and it's like no big deal to you. They were nice, I liked them. It was fun, we had a good time. And then a few years go by and you run into them and they're like, oh my gosh, it's so good to see you. You know, I was just thinking about you. Do you know what an amazing impact you've had on my life? You remember blah, 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 blah. And something so innocuous and seemingly innocent that you had said and done had such a profound impact on that person that it changed their destiny and their life forever. That, my friends, is how special our interaction is. I was listening to a news broadcast talking about politics, and the guy was like, don't be emotional, they're just a tool. Politicians are just a tool, use them, and if they don't work, get rid of them and get another tool. And I thought, is that how we really want to start looking at each other? Like a tool? Which is the second step after becoming a resource, right? Like, you're a resource. That's basically what you are in the beginning. And then after they figure you out, you go from being more than just a resource. You have a job. You're a tool, not just a basic resource. And I don't like the breakdown of how cold and callous some people have become about how we're looking at our society. And I was like, wow, this is so amazing. Looking at Marcos and I 21 years later and reading his article and his like as a background. And I'm like, wow, how vastly different his background perception of us is from the truth and from mine. You know, as a background, I was seeking to learn things, and I was interacting on these devices like Yahoo Messenger, and I ended up getting into a spiritual chat with these people, and that's how I came across Marcos. And then we got to know each other, and I was telling him the profound impact that Jesus had had in my life, and I wanted to be a good girl, and if I ever did get married again, I didn't want to live with them. I didn't want to have sex with them. I just wanted to be real pure and innocent as best as I could, because, you know, some real serious things happen in my life, and I want to make Christ proud and, you know, be spiritually virtuous, as it were. We ended up becoming best friends, talking about this, that, and the other, and over the course of the year 2002, we prearranged our own marriage. And we decided to marry. And I'm like, well, I'm not going to kiss you. I want to marry you, you know, without us living together, you know. And he's like, okay, whatever. So we'll give it a whirl. I knew he was living with somebody, his roommate, and they were like a boyfriend too. And he had his misgivings about his homosexuality. And I'm like, well, I'm looking for a spiritual husband. I'm not looking for a passionate, pleasure principle man. And I didn't care that he was poor, and I didn't care that he was an abused orphan. I didn't care. I didn't know how he was going to make money. I didn't care about all that. I cared about his relationship with God and the vows he took with Jesus. And I married him with that intention. And then I took vows with the Lord on a very sacred time on 11/08/2003. 11 plus 8 is 19. And then single digits is how you do it, really. You don't do it in double digits. So it would be 11/8/2003, it'd be 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. It'd be 1 plus 1 plus 8 plus 2 plus 3, which would be 15. Now 15 has come to be a very special number. And ironically, the Lord had me get back to him when I was 51. And that picture was 15. And then they did a infinity sign with my 15 and my 51, destroying me at 15 and trying to destroy me again at 51. But they had ammunition at 51 that wasn't there at 15. I.e. Marcos, Irena Zdanova, Marina Rawson Dreher, Lisa Lacera, Dina Lynn White Medill, Dre Walters, Willie Wankham again, like a whole lot of people, Dave Dreyer, like a whole lot of people I don't even know, right? And I'm like, oh, this guy he isn't an orphan. And I could barely look at him because he was like Tony Fish, and I was like, oh my gosh, the demons got him, blah, 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 what are we going to do? Well, all the dark magic hit me, and now we're here. But let's go to the background again. Me and him decided to marry. I get off the plane. I get settled in the hostel. Why his French roommate / boyfriend knew where the hostel is, where he's going to have his wedding night with his wife, I do not know. That's not giving us privacy. That's not giving us a chance. That's airing our business out with a man whose cock you sucked and had up your bunghole. Tongue down throat. Digest that. Moving on. That was an afterthought. We go to do our paperwork to get married. And while we're there, a judge comes in, a joyful judge comes in. And he is not even supposed to be there. What are you doing here? Blah, 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 whatever. And he was just happy to be there. He was like, you guys want to get married? Yeah. Now? Yeah. So it was just like instant butterfly effect. Like God was just raining down from the heavens on our wedding, on our marriage, just me and him, an abused orphan, and me, misfit, black sheep from my family. They didn't want me there. They didn't help me. They didn't want to have nothing to do with it. And I don't know, man. It was just so magical. And then I was like, everything up here was clear. All the demons, all the extra noises, all the extra sounds. And then he was gone. And then he said that when he came back, it was like a day later, and I had already gotten another ticket to leave town, go back home. And he's like, I'm sorry, I was in the emergency room with my boyfriend. He knows about my other part of my life now. I was bleeding out my butthole and my pee-pee and a lot of paranormal activity going on. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. I was not surprised. And he's like, how are you? And I'm like, well, I'm heartbroken, but I don't have any of them in me anymore. You do. He's like, I know, I got this. Well, that was him, because Marcos is, I always got, he's got this, don't worry, I got this. And I was like, okay, well, he had hope, the backing of the church and everything. And later on, he'd given me some things to help me with stuff that was in my head. And we parted ways. We talked briefly, then he came back with his nun to get divorce papers, which he didn't have to do. He could have went and got them from the courts. He didn't need me. He just wanted to rub her in my face. And she needed that validity. She needs to know we're marrying. She needs to know about me. I'm important. Well, you really know it. Nobody that's been married to him after me has been important. Nobody he's been with intimately after me has been important. The only thing you've done is deteriorate this man's virtuous character, destroy his vibe piece by piece. His vibe has faded away into this toxic, condemned mess that's landed into a soulless puddle. And I cannot do anything about it except for say, Jesus loves you. I forgive you, but I'm angry. And when you're ready, you'll face the truth. You'll face those demons you took from me and tell the truth about what you've been doing all these years. Now, people have the right to have the Marcos Dreher Good Shepherd, not the Instagram Secret Avenger Marcos Dreher, not the Strava account International Soldier. Marcos Dreher, not the researcher born and bred Marcos Dreher. They need Father Dreher, the Good Shepherd, who has seen outside the box in all of this. And I sent him that picture of me 15 years old and hoping he would keep the seal of confession, 1, be a psychologist for me, 2, help me come to terms with how to express all this stuff after my kid's gone and process the emotions. And if you read about his articles and you read about his resume, it looked like he understood suffering and grief and pain, and he would have been like, he took my demons. I thought there was no other man. I've never trusted anyone more than I've trusted him. I've never been angrier to anyone than him. I've never hated anyone worse than him now. I mean, he has held the capacity and the intensity of all my essence, quite literally. And now it's up to him. Ask him, did you take those demons, yes or no? Because that's the bottom line. Yes, I was disturbed. Yes, I am bipolar. No, I'm not schizophrenic. Yes, there's a lot of good conversations to be had. Yes, the Lord expects he and I to get back together. And that's the only way he'll get his soul back. Yes, there's condemnation of the Dreher name. The name Dreher is now a curse word. Like a curse. A cursed name. Dreher is all the same, moving forevermore forward. Till the end of time, there's things that come to pass, and people must pay their dues and be accountable and reconcile their karma. So with that said, Marcos, I'm sorry. It's had to be this way. But I'm relaxing. It's been a year since I was out of the hospital. January 24th, 2023 is when I was first released and homeless. My only friend in Jesus, a schizophrenic with 5 personalities. We used to talk about Jesus all the time, and just this guy, Jesus, gave me a couch in between me being on the streets from January 24th. Then he got caught up into some legal troubles and was taken away, and I was house sitting his house and dealing with drug dealers and people stashing their drugs there and cops and all kinds of stuff. And then I got caught up with legal troubles with them, got that separated, got a job, more trouble, more trauma. Let me tell you, it's hard to heal from your trauma when more trauma keeps happening. It just keeps layering. And then I got my knee hurt, blah, 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 got a job, blah, blah, lost the job, blah, blah, and I came here. And this is almost, my first full month with a roof over my head, safe, food, shelter, Maslow's hierarchy of needs met, no stressors. A few things happen here and there, but 99.99% of everything has been immaculate change and growth. More questions than answers, but we'll get to that. And eventually Marcos will tell the truth. He took demons. He knows what demons are. He's an ordained exorcist. Asked him. He told me he was. Make Marcos Dreher accountable for his knowledge and the companies he represents. Make him answer questions. And I gave proof. Medical documents, legal documents. He needs to say sorry. Marcos Dreher lied, and I provided medical and legal documentation proving that he's lying. Where's my apology, Marcos?